Welcome back to Sage Connections. Today we're diving into a topic many of us are curious about, the intersection of fitness, nutrition, hormone replacement therapy, and peptides, and how all of these can work together to support a healthier, stronger, and more energized you. I'm joined by Andre Kzirian, the owner of Troy City Fitness and Game Day Men's Health in Southfield, Michigan, who brings a truly integrated approach to training and metabolic health. Andre combines evidence-based fitness programming with a deep understanding of nutrition, hormones, and peptide therapy to help people optimize their results in a sustainable, personalized way. Whether you're trying to build strength, lose fat, improve recovery, balance your hormones, or simply understand what's actually worth paying attention to, this conversation will give you so much clarity. Enjoy. For listeners who may not know yet, can you share a little bit about your background and how you became passionate about fitness and nutrition and hormonal health?
I own two businesses. My first business I opened about 10 years ago. It's called Troy City Fitness. It's a private training studio. We help clients with nutrition as well. And then the second is our men's health clinic. We help guys optimize their hormones. We also work with women too, as far as peptides and vitamins go. But I've been in fitness now for seems like 17 years, like since I was 14. And it mainly started as like I wasn't good at anything else. So I like find something I was really good at. I didn't make my basketball team. And then once I found my niche, I was like, all right, I can pour everything into this. And it helped build my confidence. I probably made every mistake in the book at a young age, but it helped me through all the hard times in life. Anytime I had heartbreak or business wasn't going good or if college school wasn't going good, fitness was like my backbone. So once I realized that it is my foundation, I just wanted to gift that to everybody else in the world and be like, hey, if this isn't a part of your life, you need to make it a part of your life because it's life changing.
It is, and it's great to have an outlet like that
Mhm.
where you can be physical. I think we for or creative, maybe this is kind of the creative thing for you.
Yeah,
Um,
it depends on the day. Some days, if I'm heated, I go into the gym and it's very physical, like I'm trying to blow some steam. Other days, I block out my schedule for 2 hours. I'll have an empty gym and I'm like, you know what? I have no plan. I just want to go in there and let my creative mind just come up with different exercises, different movements. Sometimes it's an emotional release, right? So that's why I said it can literally be there for all these different waves in life.
Beautiful. So when you first start working with somebody, what are some key elements that you evaluate to understand their fitness, their nutrition, their metabolic baseline?
When I first start working with someone, I like to walk through their journey. When you sit down with someone as a trainer, there is like a 0% chance that is that person's first time trying to get in shape, right? They've probably tried a million different things already. They've probably failed. Maybe they've had some success in some areas. So I want to figure out what have you tried? Why didn't it work? If you did something that did work, how come you weren't able to sustain it? And then during that conversation, we'll go over the obvious, like what are your goals? What is your injury history? Understanding their fitness level. But anybody can do that. What separates good coaches is like you really need to walk through that journey and be like, what has this person gone through in life? And what's motivating them right now so they take this serious? Because you need to figure out as a coach, like how can I get through this person on a mental level? Because that's really what fitness is, like a transformation. Everybody knows how to get in shape to an extent, but it's hard to stay accountable. And as coaches, we need to figure out what's that hot button. How can I keep this person always engaged, motivated, and have them like understand why they started 2 months from now when maybe they start to lose a little bit of motivation.
So with that in mind, so once you evaluate kind of where they've been, where they want to go, what they've tried, how do you define that uh, training program? How do you design it? What are some of the most important components that people should focus on for long-term strength and body composition?
So we want to match their goals and their fitness level first and foremost. And a lot of the clients that I see, they're beginner level, right? So a lot of the programs can look a little bit similar. And I kind of like have people in my mind as in like buckets. So we have our weight loss clients, we have our clients who are trying to build muscle, we have our clients that are kind of in between that are trying to tone up, and then we have some athletes. So I can look at that category and then refine it from there based off of their goals. So for a lot of weight loss clients and women, especially who are trying to tone up without getting bulky, we'll do full body exercises because it helps burn a lot more calories. You can do it more often. You're not going to get overly sore in one area, especially if you've never worked out before and you're just hammering a leg day. You don't walk for weeks. So we like to do full body so we can kind of touch on everything, have them a little bit sore, but also have them ready to come back the next day if they're a weight loss or female who's not trying to like get super bulky. If it is a guy who is trying to build muscle and maybe even lose weight at the same time, I do recommend a split routine, but nutrition is extremely important. And then almost for all of our athletes, we do full body performance-based exercises. So based off of like those different buckets, I could tell you kind of like the program structure of each one.
So for women who are, so there's a lot of women that are kind of scared of being bulky, right? But
I
that's
know.
not that's not easy to do. I mean, even
Yeah.
guys that are trying to build bulk, I mean, that's a lot of work and effort, right?
hmm So people sit down with me all the time. They'll be like, "Well, look, I don't want to get too bulky. I don't want to look like you." And I'm like, "You'll never look like me." It's going to take 10, 15 years of nonstop work and nutrition for you to get to this point. And if you ever feel like you're building too much muscle, you could literally stop for a week and you're just going to quickly deflate back into your normal self. So that I don't know if it's a fear or if people just like to use that as like an excuse of why they're not going harder, why they don't want to go into that discomfort um, area where like, all right, you do have to push yourself in order to build muscle and it's not comfortable. And then it's easy to use that as an excuse. Oh, I don't want to get bulky. But for anyone who has that as a general concern, muscle is super dense. As a female, you could put on 5 pounds of muscle throughout your whole body. You're barely going to see it except in all the right places. And what it's going to do is tighten and tone your body. So you'll probably look more fit. You'll look more slim, more petite, more athletic, more toned. I've trained hundreds of women over the years, and I can honestly say I've never had one person come to me like, oh my God, I'm just too bulky now. My life is ruined. Never happened. Ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever.
I don't think anyone's in grave danger of
Guys either.
that.
Guys have never complained to me that they got too much muscle. It's just so if that's a fear of yours why you're not getting into the gym, throw that one out. There's
Yeah.
a million reasons to get in. There's hardly any reasons not to, and that's definitely not one of them.
So you mentioned nutrition. Obviously, nutrition is a really big part of uh, strength training and weight loss. Um, and it's a huge driver of results. So what are the main principles and strategies that you feel most people get wrong when we're talking about foundational habits of proper nutrition?
The biggest mistake you'll see across nutrition is absolutely consistency. So the best nutrition plan for you, Luba, is the one that you will stick with. The best nutrition plan for your friend or for your family is the one they will stick with. You have to find something that you enjoy that's convenient because if it's convenient, you don't have any excuses to not do it. And if you enjoy it, then you'll do it for the rest of your life. And there's so many different ways to get in shape, to build muscle, to lose weight, whatever your goal is. There are a million different avenues to get to the same place. You just have to figure out the one that's going to work for you, that you enjoy, that's convenient, so you have no excuse to give it up. And if you want some examples of those, I can give you like some general guidelines. But the truth is, the biggest mistake is like people don't stick with it long enough. You see people get results all the time, right? Someone lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, but then what happens? They gain it back. So
Right.
that they lose the same 10, 15 pounds over and over and over again. So I guess the problem isn't necessarily like, I don't know, I don't have a solution, I don't know what to do. It's I cannot stick with the solution. That's the biggest problem clients have.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm going to lay it out there. I have a little bit of experience with your program myself.
Mhm.
And I just want to say the thing that makes you so different is that when you have a moment of, let's say, weakness, I mean, women have a lot of fluctuation throughout the month
Sure.
um, with regard to how hungry they are and what kinds of food they crave. And what I liked about your approach was you were never shaming anybody about, a little slip up. Okay, we fell off the wagon today. Today was Thanksgiving, and I went to a family dinner, and you know what? Tomorrow's another day.
Mhm.
And it kind of that helps so much because I think the reason why so many people fall off the wagon is because they think they have to stick to it absolutely perfectly. And
Yeah.
I remember there was one day where I just needed my chocolate and I needed it and I was, so scared to voice that and you're like, "Luba, have your
I
chocolate."
told you to have it. All right, good. I would have
You
been
were
mad.
like,
I was
"Just
being an
eat a
ass
piece of
about it.
chocolate."
No, that happens all the time. But to be real with you, I appreciate when clients like kind of have that mindset because that tells me they're taking it really serious. You know what's worse? When clients see you and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's been pretty good," and then you do the weigh-in and there's no results, and you're like, "What's going on?" And they're just closet eating. That's 10 times worse. So I want you to be self-aware. I want you to know that, okay, this is not really in my nutrition plan. Have a conversation with your coach about it. How much is this going to affect my nutrition, my results? And I'll tell you, like, hey, that's good to go. But if you ask me, can I incorporate this with my breakfast every day? And, I'll be honest with you about what you need to do to expect results and what you can get away with, what you can't get away with.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of shame, especially on the in the weight loss journey community. There is a lot of shame around food. There's a lot of shame around craving or, having a specific body type that isn't the ideal in your own head. And so it really helps to have somebody kind of hold your hand, at least in the very beginning, showing you that like you're not perfect and you're not gonna be perfect. This is a process that's gonna take your whole life. And we have to find a way that is sustainable for you. And
Yeah.
I've never heard that before you, actually.
To find like a solution that's just sustainable,
Yeah.
as it seems really simple, no?
Eat your eat your green beans, eat your boiled chicken,
So
and that's
I'll
it.
tell you this, like I mentioned earlier with the hormone replacement therapy, like I think I'm good at just simplifying things. Because when I was younger, I would do all of these like certifications and seminars. Not that I don't educate myself to this day. I read every single day, but I was more of like when I was kind of dumb in high school, but college, I started like studying a lot, got out of college, kind of became a bookworm, especially as I started training, pro athletes and having this gym. I was like, I need to really make sure I have the knowledge behind my passion. So at that point, I was a lot more like science based, and I would explain that to clients and it didn't really get me anywhere. But when I can dumb things down for them, when I can simplify it and make it so easy that like anybody could do it, then it clicks and it just makes sense. Like you have to help the client see how simple it can be. And when they see how simple nutrition can be, then there's really like you have no excuses. It's like it's not complicated. I just have to do it.
Yeah.
And simple rules, right? Like, all right, just avoid processed ingredients 90% of the time. Hit your protein goal every single day. Don't have carbs after a certain amount of time. Those are three rules that literally, if you just do that, done. And it's pretty easy once you find a rhythm. I help my clients with like the actual food selection, recipes, all that stuff, quick, easy hacks. But those are simple rules. And my favorite rule to understand what's the fine line with cheating on your diet or alcohol or anything that's bad for you is you literally just use the feeling of regret as your guideline. And that's it. You wake up the next day, regret is a feeling, comes from within, is there for a reason. So if you feel that, then don't do that again. And it's that simple and start to be self-aware. I regret it. All right, I'm not going to do that again. I had a chocolate and maybe some French fries and a tiny slice of cake. You know what? I don't regret that. I feel good. I'm happy I enjoyed that with my family. Cool. That's the balance. Really easy rules to live by, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit the HRT. So let's kind of pivot into that. So hormone replacement therapy is becoming more and more common. It's being talked about more and more. So in your experience, I guess how are you sort of in that kind of realm, and who do you think the appropriate candidate is for HRT, and kind of what helps you determine kind of who's appropriate or not?
So I specialize in HRT for men specifically. It's a whole different category with women, which I can't get too much into just because I don't have the knowledge behind it. But as far as men are concerned, anybody who has low testosterone, who has a pretty clear medical history, is a great candidate to come in to our clinic, get a free testosterone test, and speak with our clinician. And I would say like 90% of those candidates that are low T are going to move forward with our treatment. And there's different treatment options. You don't have to just do straight testosterone injections. You can do natural testosterone boosters. We have as well. A lot of the younger guys opt in for an option like that because you can get on and get off. Actually helps your fertility, doesn't affect your fertility at all. But there are some certain circumstances where maybe like testosterone wasn't a good option. Maybe if they had some sort of health risk or something like that. That's why they meet with our clinician and she'll be able to screen them and make sure it's the right path for them.
Do you find that there's misunderstandings around hormone replacement?
Yeah, so most people just don't even know what it is. So we have ads that go out all the time. Are you experiencing this symptom, that symptom? And I call these guys to set up appointments, and a lot of times they don't even know what they signed up for. Some people don't even know the word testosterone, or they just heard it as some medical form word. They don't know that it is like the number one hormone that affects everything we do and feel as men. So there's a lot of education that has to go on. And then there was a lot of uh, wrong education in the past like 10 years, right? TRT was basically blacklisted by the FDA up until a few years ago. And they were saying that it leads to pancreas cancer and all this other, sorry, prostate cancer and all this other stuff. But that has all been proven to not be true. And yes, if you have prostate cancer, it can make it worse, but that's something we screen for before we give TRT to anyone. And we've treated hundreds of patients at my clinic alone, virtually no side effects, nothing really that we would have to worry about. And then across all the game day locations because it's a massive franchise. We have over 500 locations across the country, and very rarely do you hear any of these issues coming up that people are typically scared of, like heart attacks, seizures. These things just don't happen because all of those patients are working with a clinician. And their blood work is being monitored regularly. They're coming in once a week. So a lot of times they're actually a lot better off because they're seeing a doctor on a regular basis. And a lot of these guys would typically go to a doctor like once a year, if that. Now they come in regularly for their blood work and they're actually better off.
Yeah, there's a lot of research now going into all sorts of hormone replacement. I mean, I deal with a lot of women, and I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist, so I don't prescribe anything, but there is a lot of talk around, sort of estrogen and even testosterone replacement once somebody gets into menopause or perimenopause. So yeah, there's definitely it's a growing field. I still think that we don't know as much as we will soon. But it's beautiful that, to be on the front lines of that because I think it is really, really important. And I see change, I see improvement in my patients as well that do work with a clinician that prescribes that.
Yeah.
So speaking of,
That's
so
it.
okay,
That's literally why I started is because I had a few clients at the gym who are on TRT and their results were so amazing. I started doing more research on it and that's why I decided to open the clinic. So
awesome.
you can see it in people's testimonials day to day. Like if you know enough people that are on HRT, just talk to them and you'll be a believer in what it can do for your life.
Absolutely. So let's talk about peptides because that's been kind of exploding in popularity. So
Yeah.
which peptides do you find most promising for recovery, fat loss, muscle training. How do they work?
So there's like thousands of different peptides, right? But the most popular ones now, some of my favorites that I've used personally, there is a Wolverine blend they call, which is BPC 157 and TB 500. A lot of people mix copper into that as well. They call it the glow stack because it's really good for your skin. But that combination of BPC 157 and TB 500 helps lower all the inflammation in your body. It really helps improve your gut health since you naturally have BPC 157 in your stomach already. We're just increasing those levels. That helps decrease the inflammation, improve your gut health. And most importantly, like if you're dealing with any type of injury or muscle soreness, it's going to help your body recover a lot faster.
Okay. So what do you, in terms of how do you safely integrate peptides and hormone replacement therapy into someone's training and nutrition program just to make sure everything is working together?
As far as like how is it going to mix with hormone replacement therapy or any other type of medications they're taking, I usually defer to the clinician because she's going to be the one to know how all those things mix together. But really, with peptides, we haven't seen too many contraindications. Like it is pretty good to go if you have a clear medical history. Some of the things we look out for is like previous cancers, tumors, blood clots. If that's not present, then a lot of times peptides can pretty much be plug and play. As far as your training goes, I can't think of anything in your training that would prevent you from doing a specific peptide. I could really only see how it would help. A lot of these peptides are phenomenal for your recovery, your HRV, your heart rate variability, your deep sleep, your REM sleep improves. So I'm sure you know, like sleep is king. Anything
Hmm.
that's going to help your sleep is pretty much going to help everything in your life. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what I've enjoyed about them most.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest mistakes are that people make trying to optimize their health, whether it's overtraining, under eating, supplement misuse, relying too heavily on kind of these,
So
fad
many,
diets or quick fixes?
so many mistakes. I mean, speaking to peptides and hormone replacement therapy specifically, there's just a massive population of people who are ordering stuff online, Instagram, TikTok shop, that's being made in China or India, wherever, even if it's made in the US, if it's not made by FDA approved pharmacy and being prescribed by a doctor, like I'm not injecting that into my body. Some people don't have those type of standards for themselves, I guess, but we already, let's be honest, when it comes to peptides, there's a lot of unknown, right? They haven't been long enough for us to see long-term studies on even FDA approved peptides or pharmacy grade peptides. So to inject something that's off the streets or made in a factory where you don't know the standards in that factory, that's just dangerous. And even if you might not feel anything first month, definitely we don't know the long-term effects of that. So that's as far as peptides. With nutrition, we kind of talked about inconsistency is probably like number one. Just find something that you enjoy that's convenient. And as far as workouts go, people don't work out enough, believe it or not. I think overtraining is a word that's thrown around all the time. And rarely do I see people overtrain, but if they do overtrain, typically it's way too much cardio, which can create a lot of cortisol inflammation in the body, and we're not really doing much to improve the metabolism. So I recommend do your best to overtrain, but have your nutrition and your sleep back it up. That's how you really like if your hormones are optimized, your nutrition is optimized, your sleep is optimized. You are literally physically capable of so much more than what you think. If all of those things are there, like you would think you're Superman because of how much stronger, how much more alert, how much more sharp you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like optimize those things and you can try to overtrain, but it's probably not going to happen. And that's when your body kind of turns into like an anabolic state where it's trying to build. Your metabolism is super strong. So when you eat, it's trying to burn. So it's taking all of the good, turning it into muscle, and then your metabolism is just burning away all the bad because your workload is higher. I literally tell my clients, try to work out every single day of your life, 365. until the day you die. And that doesn't mean you have to go crazy on the weights, but why not say, all right, today my workout is going to be a 45-minute walk? Like, why is it so crazy to people to conceptualize workout every day for my life? Like, that's how we humans were for most of our existence until up about, I don't know, two, three, 400 years ago.
Yeah. It's so interesting you see this. I mean, I kind of see this too, but I've been in this realm for so long that it's still surprising when I hear people say, like, what do you mean you want me to do this every day? You
Yeah.
know?
Well, let me ask, like, think about this. What's considered a workout? Think of what our standard for what's considered a workout now. Like, I'll literally have clients tell me, well, I have to clean the house. So, like, is that going to be considered a workout? Like, as humans, have we become that lazy, that like stagnant that even just simple tasks, you cutting the grass is considered a workout now? So, I want you to intentionally work out for 45 minutes a day, every single day. And at the very, very, very least, that needs to be a walk, not walking the dog and waiting for it to pee every 10 minutes and sniff something. Like, no, you're going to walk nonstop, keep the pace up, and actually break a little bit of a sweat. And you could do that every day for the rest of your life without overtraining and mixing in obviously the weight training and the hip, but just balancing everything correctly. Again, hormones optimized, sleep optimized. You're going to be recovering way quicker. And when you do that, you can do more.
Yeah. And I think to your point, I think throughout human history, we have had to be more physical
Right.
because right now, so many things are done for us, like before nobody had a car, right? Like, I mean, let's say 150 years ago, right? People didn't have cars. So they had to walk everywhere. They had to lift more. They had jobs that were much more physical in general. So now we have to almost like supplement artificially by going to the gym
Yeah.
and doing that.
Do you think there's like any correlation with testosterone levels and the lifestyle looking back at 100 years ago when men were building things and maybe walking more or just being more physical, looking at the testosterone levels back then compared to now? Because I'll tell you, they're a lot lower today than they were 50 years ago, even. So do you
Right. And
think
there's a
like,
lot of discussion as to why.
yeah.
I mean, is it, I don't think it's a simple answer. I think there's a lot of environmental factors that could also play a role in that I'm not an expert in, but I've definitely heard people talk about,
Food,
things,
water,
right, phthalates and microplastics and endocrine disruptors and, all sorts of things like that.
so all of these things are true. And another reason why you should work out every single day and control what you can control,
Right.
basically.
That's an
Yes.
excellent point. Right. Like you can't control any of that stuff, but what you can control is your own discipline and getting in there and putting the work in as much as you can. So, for somebody that wants to get on this journey and is a little bit intimidated, maybe, or overwhelmed, where do you suggest that they start?
Wherever they are currently at this very moment, that's where I suggest they start. So, like, if you're sitting down listening to this at home, then just close the computer or your phone, whatever you're listening on, and
Once
get
you're done with the episode.
Yes, literally. Like people, they want to have a plan, right? Like I got to have everything planned out. Once the stars are all aligned, then I'll do it. And you need to switch it to from then I'll do it to all right, not I'll do it now. Like I'm doing it right now. It just changed from like future tense to present tense. I'm taking action right now in this moment. So whether that means putting your sneakers on, going for a jog right now, you already belong to a gym, you're actually going to use it. You are going to make a commitment to yourself for the next 60 days. You're going to work out every single day, no matter what, because this random guy on the podcast told you to, and you'll be alive and you won't overtrain or hurt yourself. Or if it means hitting me up at Troy City Fitness and letting me help you get started, that's totally fine too. Whatever it is, just take action. If you're not happy with something, change it.
Very nice. Thank you.
So
That's a
intimidated,
perfect.
like there's no room for that if you want growth. Like you can't, you really have to block that out at some point. And we've all been there. I used to work out. I used to go to Bally Total Fitness when that was a thing, like my first gym. 17 years ago, and I used to work out in the little studio room with the mirrors all around because I didn't want anyone to see me working out because I just started. That's coming from me, where I'm at physically now. Like I was embarrassed too at one point, but I didn't let it stop me. So if you're embarrassed, that's fine, but work every day in your little corner until you build your confidence up to the point where, you'll take your shirt off in front of anyone because you're proud of the hard work that you've done.
Yeah. And I think it's also, I spoke a little bit about identity when it comes to recovery, but there's also an identity, that we carry around in terms of our physique and our level of physicality too. And sometimes you have to kind of shift into a new identity, but it doesn't happen overnight. It just happens with one foot in front of the other. And eventually you become, you go from a kid that didn't make the basketball team to
Yeah.
you, right? So, yeah, there's a lot to it, but it does start with just taking the first step, which is if you need help, call for help. If you want to start with a walk, even though we're in sunny Michigan where it's snowing every day for the last week, whatever it is, right? Yeah, just kind of get going, yeah. So, thank you so much. This
Thank
is
you.
uh this is so informative and I think it's going to help a lot of people and I really appreciate you coming on.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much to Andre Kzirian for joining me today and sharing his knowledge on fitness, nutrition, hormone therapy, and peptides. His ability to bring all of these systems together in such an accessible and practical way is incredibly valuable. And I know that listeners will walk away with a clear understanding of what true health optimization looks like. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for being here with us on Sage Connections. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. It helps us reach more people who are looking to take charge of their health and wellness. And until next time, take care of your health and your wellness.